I'm trying to figure out how much I should be running. What do you recommend for weekly mileage? I feel good and still stay young. I currently run about 20 to 25 miles a week. Okay, so let's divide by 7. That's about 3, maybe maximal 4 miles per day. I do personally believe you should have 1 or 2 rest days in that sort of program. When we look at damage to heart muscle, and we can measure that with a very sensitive test called cardiac troponin I, it looks like for most of my patients, when they exceed about 5 miles of running, and this is, a reasonable clip, this is not, a world-class athlete clip, that they begin to make, we can measure this myocardial damage. And when we ask them to back off on that distance, then they go back to normal. So 3 to 5 miles, knock your socks off. My dogs and I do about 2.5, 3 miles at a jog in hills every day. The good news about dogs is we have to take a break for, the potty stops, and so I get to get a little rest, but that's perfectly fine. Do you recommend any modifications for athletes and are those trying to build muscle? Another great question. Number 1, you do not have to make any modifications if you're trying to build muscle. If you do want to increase protein, I have no problem with that if you're actively trying to build muscle. My personal feeling is you'll get just as much benefit by adding a plant protein like hemp, for instance, as adding an animal protein. And depending on how young you are, you're going to be able to, for lack of a better word, get away with more animal protein. If I have my druthers in animal proteins, I'd much rather you get proteins from pastured or omega-3 eggs or from wild fish and wild shellfish. And let me just give a quick proviso. Tuna is not a great source of animal protein for anybody, particularly sashimi grade tuna. If you want to use the tuna in cans, it's actually from small tuna and doesn't have a lot of mercury.